Hi, folks. Well, it's that time again, Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern. And 4 p.m. Eastern on Saturdays is when I try to do my Q&A or just hang out, talk with some of my viewers on what I call Catchup with Mayo. And for now, as I've said, during the summer, for the most part, this will be the hours, Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern. So, what's on your mind, or should I say, so-called mind? I got that from a movie once. I like saying that for fun. We got Woodland Goblin. Woodland Goblin's here. He is the first one. I don't know. What do you camp out overnight, Woodland? You're here very early a lot of times. Sometimes I wonder how you do it. Christopher, what's going on? Christopher 628. And good afternoon. Henry, what's going on? And Richard, what's going on? Richard's here. David Fishman, hello. All right, so you had a whole week to think about things to talk about. I know a week is not very long. I could do these once a month, maybe, something like that. Plus the fact that I go on sometimes intermittently and surprisingly. Just go on whenever I want to just hang out. So it'd be nice if I could keep them to once a week. Hey, Gary's here from Gary's Comics and Movies. Yeah, I went to the record store today and I bought an album. I bought Dirty Water by the Standells. Never had it before. The other day I bought a Zombies album. I bought it's a U.S. album and I think it's called She's Not There. It has She's Not There on it. It's one that I had in stereo, and I sold the stereo one because the mono one is really the preferred one, from what I understand. So I got that. And I also bought some Beatles 45s. If you saw my Beatles 45 picture sleeve video that I put up today, some of the sleeves were missing records. So while I was over at the record store, I just looked at the stock of Beatles 45s and I filled those sleeves. Okay, we got the first question. Am I concerned with the lack of Beatles and solo Beatles reissues recently? Seems it's been a very quiet year so far. Well, it is kind of strange. The only reason I say it's strange is because there's anniversaries here. The anniversary of Band on the Run, the anniversary of Mind Games, the anniversary of the Ringo self-titled album, and I thought we'd be getting one or some of those or one of those. Very strange in that regard. So I'm kind of disappointed with that. But the year's not over yet. This is me in an optimistic mood, okay, right? The year's not over yet. Unless somebody says point blank, we're not getting things. We're not. Then we'll still may get them. The year's not over yet, right? Although we're 7 months into it. We only got 5 months left. We know we're going to be getting a new Beatles song. That much we know, and we'll see what else we get. Hello, Lila. Lila's here, and it's a Saturday night in merry old England, where you are. You're in England, I believe. That's a good thing about doing it at 4 p.m. Eastern. You could still get people from UK here, and it's not, it's a Saturday. It's not too bad for people, say in the West over here, that are behind 4 p.m. So that's why. Richard says, "Do you think Paul will ever start up the archives again?" I don't. Yeah, I do. I think he will. I don't know what's taken so long. I think his last tour book, the program that he had, if I'm not mistaken, it had something to the effect of there'll be more to come with regard to the archives. I think it said that there were going to be more. So I watched Get Back Part 1 today. The music contained in it is incredible. And how beautiful is Linda? Yeah, Linda really was a pretty girl back then, especially. But uh, no problem there. Certainly no problem with the music. Yeah, so I think there'll be more McCartney archive collections. I really do. Just I don't know why it's so yeah slow. Hello, Marcus. I says I'm still puzzled on the sometime in New York City. One in particular for the simple fact that Sean Lennon was confident of it coming out. Did they work on it but then just stopped? I don't know what the story is, and nobody knows what the story is. You know, we have ideas. We think that the reason it's not being there is because it's too controversial, because one of the song contains the N word. So we think maybe that's the reason why they didn't want to deal with it. And it's a political album, and it has a lot of political songs on there and information. So I don't know. So everybody thinks naturally that's why they pulled the plug on it. But did they pull the plug on it? I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I really don't. Have I heard that there are rumors of a new Beatles compilation album this year? Yes, I have heard it, and as far as I know, Woodland, it's just that rumors, so we don't really know. Hello, Mike. What is the fantastic word? The word today is Standells, because I got the Standells album. Richard says he agrees with me about the Beatles one cover. Well, a couple of things. The Beatles one cover, on the surface of it, it's a boring cover. It just has the number one on it, single digit one, and that's not very creative. But however, it does really say a lot, I mean, if, by saying nothing. This is Beatles are number one. The songs are number one. One. It says it all right there. Hello, Penny Lane. You're in my ears and in my eyes. Yes, I forgot living in the material world. That's true. I forgot living in the material world. I'm sorry, George. I forgot it. I like the album. But I did forget that. That's another one. Absolutely. Yes, Matthew Street had a video on this topic, and I have yet to watch it, but I did see it in my feed, and I got to catch up to it. Watching Get Back, and George is so negative in it. He is the quarter of the group that doesn't want to do anything. Yeah, I know what you mean by that. George very much was like that in Get Back, and especially playing live or going out on a cruise ship or something like that. Um, yeah, but I got to say though, on the other hand, George really does want to work on the songs. He seems pretty good with the songs. Hold on a minute. Hey Lee, how are you? Do you think Peter Jackson's Get Back made the original Let It Be film so obsolete fans aren't the least bit interested in its re-release? Well, I think that the Get Back film is more the true and accurate portrayal, more or less, of what went on there. Let It Be, though, has a lot of negativity in it, and those things happen too. But it seems like, to me, I believe Michael Lindsay Hogg wanted to make a film showing why the Beatles broke up and let it be. I think that's why it is. Now, I still think it should be released, and they still said it's going to be, but there's no date for it. They just said, oh, yeah, it's going to be released and all this kind of stuff. One day, eventually, it'll be released. Um, if it never got released again, believe it or not, you're going to shudder when I say this. I'm all right with Get Back. However, there are things in Let It Be that it's not in Get Back, and some scenes are longer in Let It Be. Some scenes are longer in Get Back. Was there some performances in Let It Be that are not in Get Back? And all kinds of things like that. And the rooftop, you see the rooftop and Let It Be more straightforward, not cutting to the street so much, and all the different squares and panels. So yeah, there's a benefit to having Let It Be out, and I do hope it comes out. But I think it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world for me at this point. To tell you the truth. Who do I favor? Marx Brothers or Laurel and Hardy? Oh, Laurel and Hardy by a country mile. Laurel and Hardy are much more my favorite. Now, having said that, I do have an appreciation for the Marx Brothers. I wasn't a Marx Brothers fan when I was younger. I caught them later, and I kind of, I do like the Marx Brothers. Yes, yeah, I was talking to Tom Magnotti about this. Yeah, Mal Evans works with McCartney on his song. In particular, I think it's the long and winding road. Paul is actually very receptive to Mal giving him suggestions. I think he kind of asks him for advice at one point on Long and Winding Road. And I heard an interview with Mal Evans, I still remember to this day, where he says that he and Paul wrote both Fixing a Hole and Sergeant Pepper, the song Sergeant Pepper, 50-50. That's what Mal Evans said. Hi, James. Art Carney was the original Felix Unger on stage, and when they made the movie, the first choices were Jackie Gleason as Oscar, Frank Sinatra's Felix. Terrible, terrible choices. But as far as Art Carney goes, yeah, I know that he was Felix on stage. Adam Lewis, hello. He says, "Hey Joe, what will happen to our record collections once we pass on? Like you, I am aging with no kids to pass it on to. For some reason, I think about this. Have you?" Well, I don't know. I used to think my nephew Alex, if he's listening, hey, uh, but I got a lot of stuff, and I tell you, he's not as Beatle crazy, obviously, as I am. He loves the Beatles, but not as Beatle crazy as I am. Um, Generally, I always say I don't care. I know it sounds crazy. I don't care. When I'm gone, and I don't care what happens to the stuff as long as it doesn't get junked, as long as it gets into the hands of other Beatle fans. I hope the collection would be sold. Whoever survives me, whoever survives me, whether it's my girlfriend, whether it's one of my relatives, whatever, whoever it is. I hope that they're able to get the right money for it. I don't want them selling something that's worth $100 for like $1. I hope they get the right amount, and I hope ultimately these things will wind up in the hands of people who appreciate them. But overall, no, it's not morbid. I believe in talking about this stuff, Adam. Thank you for the question. Definitely believe in discussing this stuff. Yeah, about Jeff Lynne being involved in the producing of Now and Then. I haven't heard anything either, Lee, and I have no idea. All we'd be doing is guessing. I kind of want to say no. I don't think Jeff Lynne would be involved, but it might not be a bad idea to do it. I think for a couple of reasons. First of all, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that George Harrison wasn't too keen on doing the original anthology songs. But as long as Jeff Lynne was involved, that was one of the requirements. I think George Harrison wanted Jeff Lynne to produce, and that was one of the requirements for George to participate. So, in honor of George's wish, it would be nice to have Jeff Lynne. Maybe I like Jeff Lynne. A lot of people don't like Jeff Lynne. I like his production. I think he did a lot for the Cloud Nine album for George, for example. I like what he did on, say, Flaming Pie and stuff. So I've got no problem. I like Jeff Lynne. And to honor George's original wish in the 90s, and maybe to keep the flavor of the anthology project, maybe they should. And I can see Lila doesn't like the idea. Hello, Adam. Adam Fresh is here. Two Adams. How am I liking my new Lenovo? Thank you very much. And have I tried to? Thank you very much. Good question. Well, first of all, this is a new computer I'm working. This is the first time I'm doing a catch up with Mayo on it. It's fantastic. I don't want to speak too soon. I'm very superstitious. However, it's a Lenovo, which is good. It sounds like Lenin and Ono, but it's Lenovo. But the guy at the store told us this computer was very, very good insofar as the things I want to do. This is basically a gaming computer, they said, even though I'm not a gamer and I don't play games at all. It's good for editing and it's good for streaming and it's good for talking and like we're doing. So apparently this is really, really, really good. So I'm enjoying it. As far as the editing program, that's really interesting. This morning I started fussing around with it. The editing program in here, it's Clipchamp. Does anybody know Clipchamp? And I played with it a little bit. I got more researching to do. I like to find a tutorial because I don't. It's a little tricky. It's a little tricky, and I have to edit videos. So Favorite Bob Dylan song? That's a good question. I do like Bob Dylan. I'm a Bob Dylan fan. I have most of his albums. There's a lot of people out there that, for whatever reason, they have an agenda that makes them happy, where they think that for some reason I don't go outside a comfort zone or I only listen to the Beatles and nothing else. I really like Dylan. And as you know, Dylan is not a bubblegum artist. He doesn't have a lot of pop hits. There are so many Bob Dylan songs I don't really know. Masters of War is one of my favorite Bob Dylan songs. I love It's All Over Now, Baby Blue. I love Like a Rolling Stone, obviously, but that's typical. There's a Lay Lady Lay. There's lots of stuff like that I like. Positively Fourth Street. There's a lot of there's way too many. Favorite song on Milk and Honey? It's been a while since I've thought of that album. From John Lennon, it might be I Don't Want to Face It. Actually, it might be my favorite song off there. And when you say desktop, I'm a little lost, but yeah, I think desktop for this. For this. Yes, I have heard the original "Got My Mind Set on You," and I agree. I happen to like George's better, not just because he's one of the Beatles or was one of the Beatles. There are some songs, the originals, I like just as much as the Beatles, if not better. You know. Okay, you're welcome, Adam. That was a good question. I thought. Okay, you say, Joe, can you give us a few songs by some artists we would never expect you to like? Those real guilty pleasures. Spice Girls, perhaps. Well, I like that song. I forget what it is. There's two songs. Tell Me What You Want. So I don't know what the lyrics are, but I think the one that I really like is "Say You'll Be There." I like the song. I think that's what it's called. "Say You'll Be There" by the Spice Girls. Here's a guy that just happened to mention Spice Girls, and I like a song. So somebody out there doesn't listen to Spice Girls. Expand your horizons. Get outside your comfort zone. You don't like disco? Get outside your comfort zone. You don't like, I don't know, Yoko Ono? Get outside your comfort zone. Listen to something different for a change. There's other people too. I don't know. Bring It On the Heartbreak by Def Leppard. I like. Um, Ring of Fire by Johnny Cash. I'm just coming up with things off the top of my head. There's lots of stuff. Iron Man by Black Sabbath. There's just some, but I got to keep up with the questions. I'm not one of these people you might notice in my chats. Nothing's more frustrating to me than when I'm in somebody's live stream like this, and they're so busy talking about one thing that all the questions back up. So I try to go fast, but we'll see. Let me see. Gotta go back. Gotta go back. I'm sorry. Um, I'm going backwards. All right. I really like bubblegum pop, though. So do I. So do I. I like commercial music, and I make no apologies for it whatsoever. I love it. Not today's garbage that's all like from the computer and it's all one cookie cutter. But the 70s, 60s, 70s pop, bubblegum stuff, absolutely, I love it. Let's see. Oh, I definitely do. Elle King. I love Elle King. She's got the first two albums I really like that she did. My favorite Elle King album. She's Rob Schneider's daughter, the comedian. Is "Shake the Spirit," her second one. There's a good song on there called "Outlaw." If you check it out, Elle King. You know, "Shake the Spirit." My second album is probably my favorite album of hers. And she's had three out so far. I just bought a new country one. Jack and Diane is not a bad song by John Cougar. The reason I don't like it is because it's just one of those songs that's played out to me. You know, I just don't ever want to hear it anymore. And it's like that with a lot of Beatles songs. I'm tired of Yesterday. I'm so tired of Michelle. I'm tired of hearing "Come Together" all the time on the radio. So what was my favorite cartoons as a kid? Well, Bugs Bunny. I always liked Bugs Bunny. I liked Popeye. There was a cartoon called The Beatles. The Beatles cartoon. The Beatles cartoons. A lot of people make fun of the Beatles cartoons from the '60s, but as a 4 or 5 year old kid, that helped me get a knowledge of the Beatles, and also enjoyed their music because they played the music during it as well. And there was a lot of other stuff I liked. You know, Hong Kong Phooey. That stuff. Yes, the Dr. Phibes movies, The Abominable Dr. Phibes and Dr. Phibes Rises Again. This is a good time to remind everybody, if you like movies, check out my movie channel, which is not as big as this channel. I keep trying to get it going. It's a movie channel called Mayo's Movie Marquee. If you're on this channel, you can just click, probably get there from here. If you look at my banner, there's a link in my banner on the main page. Mayo's Movie Marquee. Try that out. Um, Do I like Stuck in the Middle with You? Yes, I do. Steel as Wheels. All I know is Beatles, right? I don't know anything but the Beatles. Yes, I do like that song. The only thing is, whenever I hear that now, and Jerry Rafferty, I like him solo as well, by the way. I like his City to City is it album. But anyway, be that as it may, Stuck in the Middle with You. Every time I hear that song, all I can think of, and everybody knows what I'm talking about, is that scene from Quentin Tarantino's movie Reservoir Dogs, which is pretty grotesque. So it kind of like ruins it for you. So now Bruno Mars, all I remember about him is that I was watching a Grammy Award show one time, and I remember he was on there, and I thought he wasn't bad. Most of that was garbage, Megan the Stallion, and all other kinds of crap. But Bruno Mars was on there, and I thought, oh, this wasn't bad. What I heard that night wasn't bad. Let's put it that way. I'm always open for other music if I happen to hear it or I think it's good. If it sounds good from any decade. If something comes out in 2023 that I like by a new artist, fantastic. Just doesn't happen that much anymore. And at my age, I'm not interested in actively seeking it. I'm spending the remaining time that I have on Earth. You got more years. It's just the realization that when you get to be a certain age, you have more years back of you than you do in front of you. However you want to look at it, and you got to decide, well, how do I want to spend those years? What do I want to enjoy? What do I want to play? What do I want to listen to? What do I want to watch? What do I want to read? You got to decide for yourself. If I could date a chick from '60s, '70s, or '80s, which chick would you pick? Well, the first one that pops into my mind is Raquel Welch from the '60s, huh? That's the first thing. And there are probably a hell of a lot more I could think about. What do I think of Denny Lane? Denny Lane's got some good songs that I like. I probably like Time to Hide uh, from Denny the best. I think he did some good things with Wings. He was a very important contributor to Wings. Him and Linda McCartney both. I mean, they were very instrumental and popular as far as popular is maybe not the word I'm looking for. Important in getting the Wings sound. You know. Yeah, a lot of people feel like this. Richard says, I can't get into the Beatles cartoons because of the voices. Plus, they make Ringo look like an idiot. That's true, but when I was 4 and 5 years old, I loved them. That's probably why. And I loved Ringo as a result. I felt sorry for him. Still do a lot of times. There's some Beatle fans out there that come down on Ringo. So, it's tough sometimes. Oh yeah, Sophia Loren. Yeah, Sophia Loren looked good then, and as she got older as well. Still looks good. I haven't seen her lately, but as of the last 10 years, 20 years, I don't know if that's gonna happen, but you never know. Yeah, Ann Archer I like Ann Archer in Fatal Attraction too. Yeah, she's nice in that movie. Joe, did you also find it initially strange first time hearing "My Sweet Lord," a Beatle being openly religious? Was Material World sometime the start of Beatle preachiness? All I know is when My Sweet Lord came out, I remember it on the radio, and I did have the 45. When My Sweet Lord came out, I was 8 years old. I went to Catholic school. I went to Catholic school. I went to Catholic high school as well. Well, I went to Catholic school up to eighth grade, and then in high school, I only went 2 years. The last 2 years was public school. Anyway, and I lived with my grandparents were lived with us, and they were Catholics, and I went to church every Sunday, and religion was nothing strange to me. I thought it was great. I thought it was great. Here in My Sweet Lord, I still do, and I got no problem with it whatsoever. I don't think of it as preachiness or anything, but Dave Osborne, no, no Dave Osborne. Yeah, right. They did have the Beatles cartoons were corny, but as a kid, you got to learn the music, as you said. And they were funny too. The whole thing with Ringo and the prop man, and Ringo having to set the right mood and all this kind of stuff. And you know, did I ever want to invest in Apple Core? No, I never. I invested in it by buying a lot of stuff. That's about as much as I could say. I don't remember your take on the song "In My Car" from Ringo's Old Wave album, but it's been emerging as an all-time favorite Ringo song for me. I think it's very by the numbers and just okay. I don't like Ringo's Old Wave album. It's probably, my opinion, his worst album. We did a show on this. If you want to go over to Talk More Talk, by the way, we're doing a Talk More Talk show over there on the Talk More Talk channel. It's going to be on Ringo's album Ringo Rama. Okay. It's the 20th anniversary of Ringo Rama. That's going to be a Talk More Talk here on YouTube. That's going to be Monday night at 9 p.m. live. Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern. And we did a show on Old Wave, including In My Car. It's okay. It's all right. But I don't see it as anything great. It's not bad, you know. The song. I mean, In My Car is. I can't answer your Badfinger question. I don't know what the world would be like if Badfinger was still together. The Mets are on fire. Well, I haven't followed. I haven't followed the Mets at all. I know they're in like next to last place. I haven't watched a single game all year. I watch the Mets games religiously only when they have a chance and they're playing well. My thing is, people say I'm a fair weather fan for the Mets. That could be kind of true, but the way I look at it is, um, I want to see a good ball game. I don't care if a ball team plays their hearts out and is really good, but they lose a bunch of games. I just want to see that they're good. They got a chance, but they lose now and then or win. If they stink and they're not playing good and they have no chance because they're playing so bad, I'm not going to sit there and waste my time watching a train wreck. I could be making a video, watching a video, reading something, doing watching a movie, whatever I was saying. Uh, listening to music, imagine that, right? And for the record, also, I'm back into records, not as much. I'm still careful with that. Still being selective, things I feel I want for whatever my reasons are. And yeah, I'm still selling things as well. So I'm basically culling the collection. I'm selling some things and bringing in other things. Thank you. I mean, Penny Lane, I don't think there are many people who do not like Old Wave these days. I'm very surprised by it. A lot of people think it's a really solid album, and I'm not sure I get that. I agree. I like this 1978 Invasion of the Body Snatchers even better than the original one. And that doesn't usually happen, for me. Usually I like the original black and white film better, but I like the Donald Sutherland Invasion of the Body Snatchers better for sure. I have not heard of this. Some guy jumped in the pool at Graceland and the Elvis world got upset over it. No, I've never seen that. I'd like to see Pierce Morgan get a hold of that guy. I don't know. See, I've been watching some videos of that lately. Uh, okay, there you go. There's a little bit of information. Baseball is irrelevant to you. It's not to me and to the fans of baseball. To me, what's irrelevant is football. But then again, I know that's just me. A lot of people like that boring stuff. What can I tell you? To each his own. Do I believe the Beatles could have helped save Stuart Sutcliffe? All these people. That's a creative question, but I have no answer for that. How would you answer a question like that one? Hi, Rick. Rick says my new laptop has a much better picture quality. That's for sure. I'm watching on my 85-inch Sony 4K. Oh, I hate that. Very nice. I'm trying to watch myself. Sometimes I watch these videos back, not often, but sometimes I do. Well, you don't like watching yourself. You don't like hearing your voice. I hate my voice. Who doesn't? Who doesn't hate their own voice? Is what I mean. You don't like the sound of your own voice usually, and I don't. I see things really that are pretty. You're trying to hide them, but yeah, pretty revealing when you watch on a big screen. Do I like Huey Lewis in the News? Everybody, drum roll, please. Some songs. My favorite song by them is "I Want a New Drug." Well, you see now, Woodland says you should root for your team for better or worse. I root for my team. There's a difference between rooting for my team. I want my team to win. I still wear my Mets cap when I go out once in a while. I don't take my cap and hide it in the closet when they're having a bad season. You know what I mean? I still wear it, but I'll root for them. Like I hope they do good. But I'm not going to sit there and actively watch shit. I'm just not going to do that. Sorry, Woodland. Okay, what do I look most for in a movie? Well, different movies are different things, but basically, I think the best movies I like have something in common. They either have good writing or good characterization. Good writing is number one, and good characterization. But then again, having said that, I enjoy movies that don't have a lot of characterization or necessarily great writing, but just a fun for different reasons. But the ones that are really the best, most of my favorite movies seem to have those two things in common. I'm trying to think what I've seen recently. No, I don't think there's been anything recent new. When are we getting another Joe and Anthony trip or food video? Well, whenever we can get together again. Well, two things have to happen. The first thing is Anthony and I have to get together again, right? And then when we get together again, I got to find out how to edit. Now, I still have my old laptop. My old laptop's in the other room. If I want to, I can edit on the old if I have to. If I can't figure out the new editing equipment here, I've still got Windows Movie Maker on the other one. Windows Movie Maker is easy. The real Aunt Mimi's here. What's up, Aunt Mimi? Okay. I'm not happy about this at all. Okay. This is going to be a controversial subject, but I'm in the mood. I was reading about it last night. I was wondering if I should make a video about it. Here's what I think. If you take a life or you help to take a life, you forfeit your own life. And that means, well, I'm not necessarily saying if I believe in the death penalty or not. To me, the death penalty is too easy. I personally believe if you take a life, you should be in prison the rest of your life. And it shouldn't be, you shouldn't be having access to weights and computers and things. It should be tough. It should be real tough prison. You take a life, you never see the street again yourself. I think it, and I love when people say like, well, Leslie Van Houten is she's people are saying, well, she's never going to do it again. She's reformed. She's a totally different person. She's not the same person now that she was 53 years ago when she was in the Charles Manson cult. She's totally reformed. I don't care about that. To me, it's not about reforming somebody. It's about punishment. You took a life, or you helped, or you were involved in the taking of a life, or whatever she did in the Manson murders. Now you just that's it. It's the punishment. You know, that's how I feel about it. And if some people, want to, this is the kind of thing I try not to talk about, but I'm going to say it because I'm getting tired, and I think a lot of people are of being quiet about a lot of things. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things you'll never hear me talk about here, but that's something I saw that list. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And I think the guy on the governor, I'm not going to even name him. I think he said that he's not going to stand in the way of an appeal, or he's not going to stand in the way. But he doesn't. He's not sure the Supreme Court's going to, or I think it is going to vote on it to let her out. But whatever. I think it's disgraceful. Is what I think. I don't think Sharon Tate ever had another chance to reform herself and her unborn child that she was pregnant with. I don't think they ever had a chance to reform themselves or have a life. Let's see. Spent a lot of time on that one. I don't remember if we ever on talk if we ever talked about you talk about the John Lennon Above Us Only Sky documentary. No, but I did a video on it. But I don't remember if we did it. I'm sure we mentioned it like news, probably. Wide angle lens on this new laptop. Yeah, it is definitely wider. You can see more of what I got. You can even see that I've got the door open here. The reason I have the door open, the door's usually shut, is because I have the air conditioner. There's no air conditioner in here, so I got the air conditioning coming through. It's a hot summer day, and I love summer. Where are you, Matthew Smith? Not to be confused with Matthew Street. Matthew Smith. Matthew Smith hates summer. He's in Texas. He's in Fort Worth, Texas, where the bugs go crazy. My heart goes out to you, Matthew Smith, for the bugs. But I love summer. God, this is my favorite month of the year. I love it. July. Uh, I don't know. Bobcat. I don't know about that. The Bobcats songs. Yeah. Oh, now there's debates going on about Leslie Van Houten. Boy, why am I not surprised? I disagree with you, Woodland Goblin. It's okay that we disagree. I disagree. She's been reformed for decades. She paid her dues. She's not paid her dues. She didn't get the people that she killed didn't get to live their life as to be as old as she is. Where does that even, how does that even make any sense? The way you pay your dues is by you never have a life out in public. You don't get to live a. She's lucky she's still alive, breathing in the jail even. You know. Hello, Raymond. What's going on? What's a good word? Oh wow, I love this. Oh my God, this is a great pairing. You got me. Pick only one: Judy in Disguise or Jackie Blue. I love both of those songs. I don't. I Oh man, I don't know. I'd have to go with Judy in Disguise by a small pubic hair. Okay, I love Jackie Blue as well, though. Boy, that's a tough one. Yeah, and Lila Hale says the families of the victims serve life because they do. That's right. Yeah, good point. Sad. What are my thoughts on why the Beatles didn't do Woodstock? I don't know. Well, they were having enough trouble even deciding at that time to play themselves on, if they were going to play live anymore themselves. They weren't playing live at the time, I guess. That's it. Sorry, I'm trying to get past all the Leslie Van Houten disagreements. Well, some of them are agreements, and some, they're you know, talking about it there in the comments section, Peanut Gallery. Uh, oh boy. I'm trying to think of, is there anything here that I can pull up for to answer? How did Art Carney end up in the McCartney and Jackson Say video? I think there's a guy in there that looks like Art Carney, but I don't think he's Art Carney. If he is, that's news to me. That's right. Rome loves Dan. Judy by a hair, haha, with glasses too. A hair with glasses on it. It's tough because I mean, those are two of my all-time favorite songs. Notice how they're not Beatles songs too. Do you notice that? Sometimes I call Judy in Disguise the best, my favorite single of all time, and and that's not even a Beatles song. You got to laugh at some of these people that you need to believe falsehoods. Okay, okay. Anybody else? It is Art Carney and Say. Wow, I saw a guy that definitely looks like Art Carney, and I remember seeing. I could see the shot in my mind. I guess it's really him. Hmm, interesting. Hmm. Art Carney, we know, was in Agna Rats, the Ringo Starr special. Yeah, the scene in Get Back when the way Paul just comes up with you said rattles off Let It Be. I was thinking of Get Back. Oops. Rattles off Let It Be. I thought you meant Get Back. Do I have a favorite Phil Spector song? Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just keep thinking of the production. I like a lot of the stuff he produced. He's a Rebel. He did produce He's a Rebel, didn't he? I mean, that's the Spector sound. I don't know. There's lots of stuff Phil Spector did. I don't like Phil Spector was a terrible human being, but I definitely liked his production. You know, the Wall of Sound. And then sometimes I didn't like the Wall of Sound, depending on what it was, how severe it was. But Be My Baby, there you go. Yeah, Agna Rats, the Ringo Starr special, seems such a long time ago now. Yeah, I saw it when it was on. I'm sure you did too, right? Yeah, Spanish Harlem. The funny thing about I'll never forget, in 1971, I think it was, I was 9 years old or so, and I went to the record store and I wanted to buy the new single Spanish Harlem by Aretha Franklin. And I asked for Spanish Harlem, and the guy gives me the Benny King record, and I was like, "What is this garbage?" Because I mean, it's a good song, the Benny King song, but I was looking forward to the more soulful Aretha Franklin. What do you know? A lot of non-Beatles song talk here. Who ever figured that? Outside the box, you see. Yeah, soul music outside the British invasion. Yeah. I John has gone on record as saying he was fond of his work, but not his personality. He probably went hot and cold on him at times, but in general, I don't think he was too fond of him. Do I like George Martin instrumentals? Yes, indeed, I do. I like the George Martin instrumentals, most of them. Do I think that Paul should do a collaboration with Jay Z? I don't care what he does in that regard anymore. I think Jay Z, if I'm not mistaken, it's not my kind of thing, but Jay Z is kind of old hat in today's world. Am I right or am I wrong? How about I don't know? How about he does something with Drake, or he does something with Megan Thee Stallion, or something like that? No, please, no. Okay, Rick ordered two classic science fiction on Blu-ray: It, the Terror from Beyond Space and Curse of the Faceless Man. Do you have them? Which do you prefer? I prefer It, the Terror from Beyond Space. Both of them I like because they were on Creature Features on TV when I was a kid in the 70s. And I know them both. I like them both. But I think definitely It, the Terror from Beyond Space is better than Curse of the Faceless Man. Uh, and I don't know if you know that It, the Terror from Beyond Space is the unofficial inspiration for the movie Alien. It's like the original Alien movie, you know? Yes, I do think that John would have participated in the anthology because even when he was alive, John still talked about that project. Back then, they were going to call it the Long and Winding Road, and that was a project that they've been talking about since the 70s. They were going to do a bunch of film clips of them and put up compile a Beatles story called the Long and Winding Road, which is what became an anthology in the end. And again, I hear that Grumpy George didn't like the title "Long and Winding Road" because it was a Paul song title. And if you watch, there's a clip of John on the Today Show from 1974, and he talks about compiling the film "The Long and Winding Road." So I really think he would have, yeah, done it. I wouldn't say that. I sometimes say that I think that Judy in Disguise is a perfect, the best single, my favorite single. Like one hit wonder kind of thing. That's different. Not my favorite song, but it's my favorite single. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, and Get Back once George leaves. It looks like Anger by the other three. I think they really rock out. I don't think it's anger. I think it's nervousness and disillusionment and panic. And what are we going to do now? George left, and just the release of all that tension and anxiety and panic and worry. Uh, I think that's why they go crazy, including do a Yoko Ono jam. So absolutely. I have a big 45 Motown collection. I love Motown. Absolutely love it. I got a good 45 collection. I love Motown. It's out of my comfort zone, you see. I hope that idiot's listening. But anyway, I can't help it. I'm sorry. Somebody made a really stupid comment. People tell me about these things. They alert me to these things. I'm like, are you kidding me? But anyway, and the Supremes, I mean, I love the Supremes. To me, the Supremes are my favorite girl group, and They're the female Beatles in a way. But I love that Motown stuff. What's my favorite song from McCartney 2? Gotta think for a while. It might be coming up, the single coming up. The studio coming up. I also love the song "On the Way." I like the instrumental "Frozen Jap." I like "One of These Days." Those are probably among my favorites. What's my best Bond theme apart from "Live and Let Die"? Well, "Live and Let Die" is not my favorite. I think my favorite Bond theme is this, Carly Simon's "Nobody Does It Better." I also like Goldfinger. I like Thunderball. You know. Do I have a favorite new wave song? Oh, well, uh, anything by the Cars, just what I needed by the Cars. Let's see, what else? Blondie, anything by Blondie. It's hard to say one way or another. Probably anything from Eat to the Beat. I think Eat to the Beat is the best Blondie album. A lot of non-Beatles stuff here today. Wow, I love it. The Beatles, Capitol albums or British albums? Well, a lot of people know about me that I grew up with the Capitol albums. That's all I knew when I was growing up in America. Then later on, when I became a teenager, I started discovering the imports, UK imports, and also Japanese imports and German imports. And I really liked the import records. And I said, this is what the Beatles intended. These are the albums. And for many, many years, even going on to the CD age, when they came out on compact disc, they used the UK configurations. I said, I will never listen to those US albums again. That's not the Beatles the way they intended them. Well, guess what? These days, I prefer the Capitol albums. And it's been like that for a lot of years now, the last 10 years. I don't know why. Call it nostalgia, call it what I grew up with, call it something different. I just like them. I like them. So I like them both, really. I like them both ways. But yeah, let's see. I didn't say Kiss Kiss Kiss, did I? Nope. I do like Kiss Kiss Kiss, but that wasn't not the first thing I thought of. What's my feelings on AI being used in music? Well, whatever, I don't know what they're going to do with it in the future, but what they're doing right now, making up these phony songs. The Beatles is singing the Beach Boys, and John Lennon is singing a Paul song, and Paul's singing a John Lennon song. That sounds lousy, and I don't go for that. I'm kind of worried about what they can do to the misuse and mishandling of AI. I think a lot of people are worried about that. But it'll have good uses as well. But last I heard, Yoko was moving out of Dakota and moving to a farm somewhere. I don't know if she's there full time. I don't know. I don't know if she lives, if she lives at this other place full time or just visits, comes back to the Dakota. I don't know. Yes, that's why I said, yeah, Jay Z is old school. I thought so. See, I even know that Jay Z is old school. That peace and love video from you, Joe, was hilarious. It was even more funny reading someone in the comments being told, "Oh, shut up" on the streets when he partook in it. Yeah, that was a fun video to make. I wanted to do a video like that, and was out, and I got an idea. Woodland Goblin, the Paul McCartney fan, is saying, not for nothing, but the Beatles could have went on without George, especially since they weren't touring, easily with Paul doing all of the lead guitars for the album. See, that shows you how easily Woodland doesn't mind throwing anybody else under the bus. But if anybody throws Paul under the bus, Whoa, Woodland Goblin gets very upset. Here's what I think. I know what you're saying in a way. I think that Paul McCartney is a better guitar player than George. I use my ears. I don't go by, I personally think that Paul could handle the leads. Paul could handle most instruments. However, it's not just about that. It's about the four guys. The Beatles aren't the Beatles without John, Paul, George, and Ringo. I mean, those are the Beatles, and it's every much a personality thing. Not just a musical thing or who can play the guitar, who can play the drums. It's about those four personalities. At least I think so. David, you notice I didn't mention Waterfalls. It's not one of my favorites. I do like Temporary Secretary. I do, but I didn't mention that one either. So, hello, Caleb. Happy Saturday to you too. Do you have mods in America? You got me on that one. Do you have a favorite character from Yellow Submarine that isn't one of the four Beatles? I really am not a big fan of Yellow Submarine. I know I love the music, but somebody else said earlier, it might have been Woodland Goblin, uh, said that he thought that the artwork was good on Yellow Submarine. The psychedelic artwork makes me uncomfortable. I've never liked that artwork. But anyway, do I have a favorite character there? I really haven't thought about it. I do not have a favorite character other than the Beatles. I could pick one. I could pick one just to come up with it for you. But I don't really have a favorite one. Would I marry Carly Simon or Carole King? They got the bucks. They got the bucks. No, I don't know what you even mean by that. You know. Uh, any word on the new Godzilla movie from Toho? I didn't know that there was a Toho new Godzilla movie. But let's get Toho keep the Godzilla movies to Toho, please. Let the Japanese people keep making the Godzilla movies. They make the best ones. I'm a fan. Okay, George says, I think Sun is Shining, the Bob Marley song, followed by Here Comes the Sun with George Harrison singing Cheers Me Up. What's your favorite Bob Marley song? Well, I'm not that familiar. Bob Marley's somebody I'm not that familiar with. I do like some Jamaican music, by the way. I do. But I know Bob Marley's like the king of Jamaican music. But, I only know the basic song or two. I don't want to just pick the basic one. Yeah, I've been to the Dakota several times. Yeah, the last time I was at the Dakota was last year when I went to see Ringo Starr in New York City. We stopped by the Dakota. No, I don't know why. Yeah, Lennon said Paul sounded depressed when he was listening to McCartney too. I don't know what song it was. Was it a pain transferring all your stuff from the old computer to the new one? Not a pain at all. Went to the Geek Squad. They did it all. Boom. There was a guy there that was really helpful. He was there. He set everything up perfectly, transferred everything over to here, took care of anything that I needed, and things I didn't even need. He really was. I can't recommend him enough. I know there was an AI cover of "Grow Old with Me," but I did not bother with it. Tell you the truth. There you go. I know Penny Lane is a big Yoko fan. Yes, Yoko lives upstate New York at the farm full time. House of Frankenstein or House of Dracula? They're very similar, but I prefer House of Frankenstein. Some people like House of Dracula. The fans. You know, if you ask me if I prefer House of Frankenstein or House of Dracula, how about if I say Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein? I think Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein, which comes after those two, do a better use of incorporating the three different monsters. By the way, again, if you like movies, check out my movie channel called Mayo's Movie Marquee. I'm going to see Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein on the big screen. It's going to be next Wednesday. I'm going to be seeing it. So there you go with that. Am I a Willie Nelson fan? No, I'm not. I don't have anything against Willie Nelson, but I'm just, I'm indifferent about him. Oh yeah, you gotta watch part two, Lila. Lila, let us know what you think of part two and get back when you see it. Definitely, um, things get better. As you probably know that. But thank you, George. But don't jinx it. Thank you very much. Yes, June Lockhart. Oops, sorry. Boy, things are moving fast. What happened to the June Lockhart one? How about June Lockhart at 98 years old? Absolutely, I can't believe it. Lost in Space, Lassie, Petticoat Junction. Uh, Everyone hit that like button. Yeah, there's no like button actually on this. Hit the like button or hit that S sign with the lines through it. Whatever. Uh, Joe, can you use those fun sound effects and video clips like Doc Dacus? Well, I'm gonna try to do a little more of that kind of stuff. I don't want to steal Doc's thunder. But seriously, we'll see what happens. Hello, Padge. I see Padge has joined us here. There, huh? All right. What's going on, folks? Thanks for joining me. We'll do this every Saturday whenever I can. Most Saturdays I can do it. Saturday at 4 o'clock Eastern, p.m., 4 p.m. Eastern. People ask me who's my favorite movie director, but the problem with that is that I don't know if I have like an auteur. I can't never say auteur theory. Like it depends. A lot of times movies are very different. But one of my favorite directors is William Wyler. I love Ben Hur and Jezebel. I like James Whale from the old horror movies. I like George Roy Hill actually. Um, is that Kubrick on there? I don't know. Kubrick is interesting. I like Quentin Tarantino. You know, but it's hard for me to say. I like some Hitchcock. Some Hitchcock I like. Some Hitchcock I don't like. So I like some Scorsese. Some Scorsese I don't like. So my first non-album Beatle collectible, I don't know. Well, I understand. You see, I think Ringo should do a full album instead of doing EPs, but he won't do it. A lot of people say he's doing it for the money. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. He doesn't make much money, all right? A lot of people don't buy Ringo's EPs. Even Beatle fans aren't interested. But be that as it may, Ringo just does what he wants to do. He gets excited. He has a handful of songs. He puts an EP out. Keeps it. Look, the bottom line is that Ringo is in great physical shape right now. He's been that way since 1989. He was sober. He's active. He looks young. He feels young. He tours all the time. He's keeping up, always on the go. And let's just be happy that he's healthy, alive, looking good, feeling good, and making EPs as many as he wants. Yeah, at the end, after you buy three EPs, you think, "Oh, I could have bought one album. Yeah. I just take whatever it is. There are things for sure, as you all know, there are things for sure that I complain about all the time. You know, but something like that, no, I won't. I'm not going to complain about that. Is there an update on the Ringo Country EP? I saw a clip with Ringo yesterday saying something about that. I don't know when that's coming. I'm thinking that's the Linda Perry one that Linda Perry's helping him with. I'm not sure. No, no, no. I do not like thunder and lightning. No, no. I like sunshine. Sunshine. Sunshine, life for me. I definitely like sunshine. Do not like rain. I hate rain. I gotta say, Barbara Bach or Barbara Starkey. She looked really good. God bless her. Alrighty. How can you afford a new TV and a laptop? YouTube earnings? Well, I have some savings that I've saved over the years. You never can have uh, too much savings. I wish I had more than I have, but when you need them, you need it. You need it. You take out money. That's what I have. You just take money out. Should it be a law that every vinyl album should come in a polyline sleeve? It shouldn't be a law. It doesn't have to be a law, but it'd be nice as a collector. Which member of the All Star Band should he bring back? Hmm, bring back? I'm not interested in him bringing people back. I'm interested in him in doing people I've never seen before. I like this group that he has with him now, but he's had this group with him now at least for 12 years or something like that. But I'm trying to think. I can't think right now fast enough of all the band members that are in there. Do I have a nice? Did I have a nice Independence Day? I had a wonderful Independence Day. Very good Independence Day. Thank you. Am I a fan of the fireworks? Um, I like looking at fireworks. Sure. I'm not as fanatical as some of these people. People who like get all gaga over fireworks and setting them off and stuff. But I love watching a fireworks show, sitting back watching them. Sure. Yes, I know there was a McCartney album supposed to be called Return to Pepperland. Yes. Did I ever notice in Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein in the scene where Glenn Strange is on the table and the bolt in his neck comes out and then goes back in his neck? Yeah. Well, those bolts, the makeup, they're like adhered by adhesive or something to the neck. And there is a part the monster turns to look, and as he turns to look, the thing comes off, gets pulled out, the tape gets pulled off the bolt. Yeah, I've noticed that. Yeah, I've been to museums, music museums as well, but not to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Yes, definitely changed the lineup. Or better yet, get rid of the All Star Band altogether. Opens up more opportunities for different Ringo songs. Oh, believe me, Marcus, if I had my way and you had your way, that's what we'd have. But Ringo has to have his way, and it's either his way with the All Stars or not at all, because Ringo has always said that. He doesn't have enough. Well, first of all, he doesn't have enough confidence, I don't think, in himself to do a whole show of his own old songs. I wish it was just a Ringo show where he does all his songs. You know different songs from different albums and stuff. But Ringo has always said that he likes to play with other people. He likes to play in the All Star Band because he can do both. He can play drums for other people singing up front. Then once in a while he gets to get a break and go up front and sing too. So it's really a good arrangement, I think, for Ringo. I think it's ingenious, and the fact that he uses the title All Star Band with two R's in it, I think that's great. Let's see. Favorite Elvis era. I gotta go with 1956 to like 1960, I guess. I gotta be an old fart with that. Favorite cereal. I mean, I don't eat cereal anymore. Really, it's being too sugary and garbage. But back in the day when I was eating cereal, I liked stuff like Fruit Loops, Lucky Charms. That garbage. Who's my favorite drummer for Paul McCartney and Wings? Wow, it's tough. That's a tough one. I might go with Steve Holly. Steve Holly. Yeah, but I like them all. To me, it's really about. I'm in it for Paul. Regardless of who's on drums or in the band. But Yeah, that's certainly a funny line from Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. I suppose when we see it live, people will, we're going to see it on the big screen, people will laugh at that line. Why do you dislike John's bedpiece look? It's my favorite look of this. Do you hate hippies? No, I don't hate hippies. Why do you have such a problem all the time, Henry? What people like or don't like? I never understand that. No offense, but you do that a lot on the chats when you're here. You're like, why do you not like this, and why do you like that instead? People like what they like. They don't like what they don't like. I just don't like that look for John. I don't like that look of him. I don't like I don't like his look in the Get Back movie without the beard, the long beard. I don't like him the way in the bed in with the long beard. I don't know. I don't think I like that long, that really long hair on John, to tell you the truth. But whatever. Ever been to traveling Beetle museum? No, no. No, I will never be a vegan. No way. I'm a meat eater, and that's the way it is. Mostly because if you're trying not to eat too many carbs, there's not much else left. You know what I mean? If you're not eating bread and pasta and stuff like that, um, if you eat meat, at least there's some variety. You can have fish, chicken, turkey. It leaves more variety in addition to vegetables and all of that stuff. Yeah, I'm open-minded too. A lot of people think I'm not. A lot of times when people don't like something they like, or they don't see things the same way as they do, or they don't behave in a certain way they like them to be, they think, oh, he's closed-minded. Meanwhile, I'm open-minded about certain things that other people are not. You know what I mean? And I'm like, well, what are you closed-minded? It's so easy to say that. Oh, you don't like this or that, or you have no interest in even trying this or that. Well, then you're closed-minded. Well, it's the when that happens, it's the pot calling the kettle black. That's what that is. Yes, I do own an instrument. I own a bass guitar, a Paul McCartney Hofner bass. I play a little bass. Yes, I do. Here it is right here. Play a little bass. Here you go, that one there. That's it. So there. And Get Back, McCartney shouts to John, go on, crawl into your bag. He's kidding around, but just goes to show you, he's got his own quips too, things that he wants to say, but he doesn't say them that often. So, so I'm going to wrap this up pretty soon, folks. Let's get to the end, and then I mean, I'm having a great time here, and there's a lot of people here, but I like to keep it. I don't like going over an hour, hour 15, really, because people like to watch the playbacks as well, and I don't want them to go too long during the playback. So, okay, okay. Henry says movie chat this Tuesday. So far, it looks good. Yes, I do a movie chat. I do a chat like this, but I have other people up here. I have Tom Hunyadi up here. I have Tim Allen usually up here. I have Gary of Gary's Comics and Movies up here, and sometimes Beetle Babe is up here. Um, so that's over on my other channel on YouTube. You can subscribe, and we do it every Tuesday night. That's 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Do a live show. You'll see the advertisements for it over there. The channel again is Mayo's Movie Marquee. Yeah, and I'm going to sign off now. But before I do, I also want you to know that I'm going to have another show up. We're going to have another show up on Talk More Talk. Um, Talk More Talk is a solo Beatles show. We're going to be talking about Ringo's 2003 album called Ringo Rama. That's going to be 20 years old this year, and it's going to be at 9 p.m. live Eastern Time over on the Talk More Talk channel. So please check that out. Thank you all for being here. I'm going to try to do this again. We're going to try to do this every Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern. Catch up with Mayo. Thank you all for being here. Peace and love.